Bob Goff I heard him once talking about when he was talking about how do we follow Jesus and how do we continue to follow him. And he talked about how the first people who landed on the moon navigated their way to the moon, because they were like, how did you like land and how did you navigate it? Because no one had ever done it before. And they just said, we just tried to keep the moon in the window. Like we had a window in the front and we just tried to keep the moon in it. And so it's like for our lives, like I think it's helpful for even when it's like things are not the way I want them to be now, but is the moon still in the window? Am I still trending in that direction? Do I want to be a really like angry and bitter person? Like, do I want to be an angry and bitter person in 20 years? Or do I want to be like Pastor Brad and just be like, man, I'll walk into Brad's office all stressed out about something, and within 5 minutes, he has like disarmed me. Like he has taken me from like DEFCON 1, I think that's right, to like, dude, it's a sunny day, go for a walk. And just being able to do that. And I'm like, that only happens from like compounding and trying to really focus on that, noticing those things that aren't true and really trying to live like it is. You know what? Maybe I don't have the place with relationships I want to right now, but are we like trying?
Yeah.
Are we trying and are we investing? Because I don't like in 14 years, I'll be 40 years old and I don't want to just get there and be all like, oh, you know, like I wanted this to happen. It just never did. It's like, I want to live like I want to be investing in people, because if I'm doing it now, I'll be doing it later. If I'm not doing it now and saying I'll do it later, why do I think that'll happen? If I don't want to do it now, I probably won't do it later either.
Well, I think, just that concept even of just living with the end in mind. You know, I think, you know, we've done this thing where we have students write their eulogies, and I know that sounds creepy. You know?
It's
but
morbid. Sometimes
it's probably one of my favorite things, because when we take time to think about like a eulogy, obviously is the people standing at your funeral, you know, saying what you meant to them, saying who you were to them. And I think when you put yourself in those people's shoes, when you put yourself in your future wife's shoes or your kids' shoes or your, you know, neighbor's shoes, whoever it is, and then you write from their perspective of, this is what they meant to me, this is who they were, this is how they pointed me towards Jesus, this is how my dad, you know, treated me when I did something wrong. Like when you actually start to think about those things, obviously it paints this picture of like the person I want to become. Like that's, for me, it's like the first step. Write your eulogy. Write it from a few different people's perspective. Who, you know, am I that day? Like, who am I to you? The ideal story that's told. And then I'm not trying to oversimplify it, but then start living that story. You know, there's intentional steps that you can take today to have that story told. And obviously God's going to adjust that along the way. Like the things that I would have wanted somebody to say about me when I was 25 are different than the things that I'm thinking about when I'm 31.